reactor, Yasira blurted. There was that canny little smile. Damn it. He already didn't believe her.
Is there? Said Apec, smooth as ever.
Apec's face rarely gave much away, but he didn't seem troubled.
Goodness, where are my manners? Come in, sit down, explain the problem to me.
Don't patronize me, said Yasira. She stormed into the office and fell into a leather armchair. The inside of the office, at least, was more finished than the outside. The walls had been painted last week in a professional light beige color and were finally dry. Apec had 2 bookshelves full of colorful odds and ends, and a framed blueprint of the entire Pride of Jai behind his desk. Part of that blueprint was hers, of course.
Sorry, said Apec. The coffee maker's on the fritz again, but I can lend you a stress ball. Here.
He tossed one over, a red thing with beans inside. Yasira caught it instinctively. She squeezed it, tapped her fingers against the squishy surface. It helped, but not nearly enough. You see, I designed the Shien reactor. I am the person who would know if there is a problem. I said, don't patronize me.
So, what's the problem?
Yasira buried her face in her hands. I don't know. She waited for him to laugh. He did not. I can tell there's a problem, she continued after a pause. It's a gut feeling. Something's way off. We need to push the activation date back a couple of weeks, find more tests to run. Otherwise, something awful is going to happen. She waited again for him to laugh. Instead, his voice was gentle.
What sort of awful thing?
I don't know. Apec leaned back in his chair and folded his hands.
I'm going to say this with the highest possible respect, Dr. Shien, but if I remember correctly, you've never supervised a large-scale engineering project before.
There it was, the condescending tone. Yasira's hands clenched on the stress ball, her whole body tense in frustration. She was head of the entire power generation team, and admins still talked to her like a baby. It was sort of to be expected. Yasira had come to this point straight out of her first postdoc. She was by far the youngest team head on the station, and autistic to boot. They'd originally wanted her doctoral mentor, not her. The prototype Talir Shien reactor was the only human technology that could power a station this size. But by the time construction started, Dr. Talir had already disappeared, and Yasira, the prodigy physicist from Riyyin, whose name was second on all the papers, had been narrowly voted in as a replacement. The other team leaders were kind. They had to be, on a project like this. Living in close quarters for the better part of a year, working together on something this complex and this important, they had become like family. But if this was a family, the other team leaders had the gray hair and tenure to match their positions of authority. Most of them still seemed bewildered that Yasira could be more than a precocious grandchild.
Of course, said Apec. The Pride of Jai isn't quite like other projects, but this happens with every large-scale project that will affect other human lives. The nerves are monumental, always, and that's good. It stops us from getting complacent. You just can't let it be more than it is, or you'll be paralyzed. Have you gone over all the testing and QA reports?
Yes, Yasira said miserably, her fingers tapping faster against the stress ball.
Everything checks out?
Yes.
Can you think of any testing methods that haven't been tried? Any place at all where there might be a specific weakness you're not sure about?
Yasira shook her head, frustration building. She couldn't explain in words why these questions felt wrong. They were logical, reasonable questions, the same she'd be giving to anyone else in the same situation, but they were missing the point. They did nothing for her actual panic. It's all fine, she said, at a loss for other words. I even went over the original math for the reaction itself. I can't find anything.